Begin the next half with one of the pieces that I have curated. Let's welcome Mousumi Dey on the stage. Thank you. Hi Modi, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good to have you here. So I would begin by asking you this question. I mean, I know you have been on the stage, different art forms. We've seen you do a lot of poetry and things that come out of poetry and things like that. But have you ever stood on a stage and told a story?
Yeah, a little bit of here and there as part of Toastmasters International. I've done storytelling, yes.
And how do you think those experiences have been as compared to the experience that you're having as part of being Voices?
Voices, I feel, is a little different than Toastmasters storytelling. They will give you a theme, and it's very personalized and authentic stories that you have experienced in your life, and that's what you're sharing with everybody on the show.
So I realize like it's a common theme. We are all, of course, telling a very personal story that we could share with you all. And I asked, as I said, I'm going to ask every speaker whose stories I've created the same personal question. That is, when you told your mom that you're going to leave the homeland, you're going to immigrate out of the country, what was her reaction? What did she say?
So when my mom first heard, she told me, Mo, I'm very happy for you. You are going to a place where people dream to go someday. But only thing is that my mom, for various health reasons, she couldn't travel to US. So after marriage, I came here and she had never visited me. So she had literally didn't see my Shongsha, my family, how I'm doing here. So that's why sometimes she asked me, do you know how to cook? So you can literally see what impression she has on me. And also she tells me that, wish you were in India, some corner in India, and I could just simply come and visit you. Yes.
Well, yeah, I think immigration does have a very emotional aspect to it, underlying emotional aspect to it for every one of us, I think, can probably relate to something like that. So without much further ado, I welcome Mousumi Dey on the stage. Please welcome her. Thank you so much.
One stormy nor'easter evening in March, I was perhaps glued to a television set and aimlessly changing channels when I saw that Mr. President, I mean our president, hinted in a tweet that the military will be tasked with building a wall on the Mexican border. His first visit to San Diego, soon after he took over the Oval Office, to inspect 8 wall segment prototypes. Yes, walls that designed to keep out animals, drug addicts, and so on. Watching that news and a foot of snow outside, I was filled with a sudden burst of emotion. It was the summer of 2006. My dad, an army man whom I had never seen fall sick even for a day, had suddenly become severely ill. I felt like running into my dad's arms and saying, everything will be fine, Baba. But I couldn't travel. I couldn't travel due to my own complicated pregnancy. All I could do was to spend several sleepless nights just thinking about my Baba. Months later, I was finally able to travel. One of my cousin, my Didi, was kind enough to travel with me. But my mind was preoccupied. I was traveling with an infant and a toddler for the first time, and was also going back to India after a very long time. So I didn't know what to buy, what to pack, so I pretty much jammed everything into my carry-on bags, in case my checked baggage was lost. Looking at all that, my husband even quipped, hello, are you not planning to come back home? Those were the days of orange and red alerts. Airports were inventing new security measures on a daily basis, or so it seemed. So when I reached the airport and approached the check-in counter, the attendant told me that our flight was overbooked and he couldn't sit all of us together. So he looked and said, he can sit all by himself. I was like, who? He pointed to my 5-year-old kid. And I simply asked, how far away? He peered into his computer and said, 5 rows down the aisle. Excuse me. I literally screamed, are you kidding me? But with absolute nonchalance, he moved on. Can I help who's next in the line, please? As I was standing in the interminable security line, one official came out of the blue and asked my Didi to step out and follow him to an enclosed area. I was perplexed. Where are they taking her? Before even I could react, someone briskly said from behind, please move the line. Oh, wait. I'm supposed to take off my shoes and place them flat in the plastic tub with all the other articles. I mean, everyone else was doing that. By then, my baby started crying because he was hungry, and my older son, he refused to get up from the floor or surrender his Game Boy. And I was literally sitting on the ground trying to grab it from his hand and dump it to the tub. By then, my bag went to the other side of the conveyor belt, and here I am holding the line with agitated passengers behind. Then, my bag got tagged by the X-ray machine. And they asked me to open it. The way I jammed stuff, as soon as I unzipped it, things started falling over all over the place. So, guess what? The officials started throwing things into the trash can. I simply jumped and asked, what's the problem, officer? Ma'am, these do not meet the TSA amended guidelines. They have to be in a container of 3 to 4 ounces or less in a single, clear, resealable 1-quart plastic bag. Do you understand, ma'am? Yes, I do. Here goes my baby Tylenol. How am I going to survive my journey without all my stuff? Finally, my Didi, who supported me emotionally in this journey, came out of from behind the curtain, and she looked so crushed and violated. It seems her name got added to the federal no-fly list. And it was so embarrassing for her to go over the questionnaires and physical scrutiny just to prove that she does not belong to a terrorist organization or any such group. The journey before the journey took out a lot from us. The world was not like that in the distant past. Definitely not Logan Airport. 1999. I clearly remember I was traveling with my firstborn infant then from Boston to Denver. As I was getting through the security gate, my baby began to cry hysterically. I tried to calm him, my husband tried to soothe him, but we sort of failed to manage the situation. By then, the final call for the passengers was airing over the PA system, and I had no time left to board the plane, and my husband was still holding the bawling baby. You know how stressful it is to board a plane with a screaming baby in hand. So I was standing there, looking around, didn't know what exactly I could do. Then suddenly I saw one security guard wearing a blue uniform was walking towards us. He had a kind face, I could tell. So he came and said, "Follow me, Dad." At first, we didn't realize what he was up to, so we simply followed him. You know what he did? He let my husband go all the way inside the plane. He gave us time, we settled in, and my husband bade us goodbye. That security guard was an angel. I could never forget that. Back then, flying was so much fun. On trips like my kid was taken to the cockpit to see how pilot flies the plane, just like the way I had visited the cockpit as a kid when I used to travel from Agartala to Kolkata in India. India, my previous life, gush of fond memories of my childhood, that road, Agartala, especially the memories with the Kamleshwari Kali temple in Tripura, keep flashing in front of my eyes. The small, red and white, beautiful temple, perched on a hillock overlooking a lake in Kasaba, Tripura. It stands just a few hundred meters from Bangladesh border. I grew up in Agartala, about 30 kilometers away. The Kali temple was a favorite picnic spot for all of us. Whenever relatives came to town, we were sure to take them there. As kids, we used to get so excited to see the Bangladeshi trains go by. We were just with great surprise and exclaiming, "Oi that, oi that!" We used to point how the people would ride on the roofs of the moving trains. It had all the allure of stuff from another country. The country which Sylhet was a part of. Sylhet, where my dad grew up in an undivided India, and we grew up hearing so many beautiful stories of Sylhet. Another country? Yes. There was a barbed wire fence separating people, but they would cross over routinely to take a dip in the holy lake and visit the temple. And why only people? Bangladeshi goats would find a way through the fence to get over to the Indian side, and their owners would come chasing after them in full view of the border security forces. Men, women, children, they moved freely across the border every single day to earn their livelihood. No one asked for papers. No one had any papers. Near the lake, there was even a border hut, an international marketplace where villagers from both sides, from India and Bangladesh, would come and trade their stuff together. At times, we would just bicycle to the Akhara Road border checkpost. Oh, that road was so serene. Krishnachura trees would bloom in spring and stretch on both sides of the road. We would burst into a riot of color red. We would see soldiers from both sides laughing, chatting, and waving at us. At times, we would just sit in the middle of the road just to touch and feel of how that same road became Bangladesh later. There was even a board that read, "Please visit again. Indian territory ends. Bangladesh 0 kilometer." As a child, that was my border. There were boundaries, but there was congeniality. An imaginary line, a mark that existed only on the maps. I have never seen a lack of trust, love, care, affection of the people from both sides of the land. Maybe I was innocent. Maybe the world was innocent. Maybe my world was innocent. Whenever my dad stood near a border, he would just point his finger and say, "Oi dekh ma, oi dekha jay amader uthon. There goes our backyard." I could smell it. For my dad, that wasn't easy. The pre-partition days of 1947, when my dad grew up as a kid, there wasn't any border. Then everything changed for him. Today, I'm a citizen of a nation that prides itself as a nation of immigrants. And that same nation is now trying to impose restrictions, increase airport security, even building walls. Some people think that will help, but there is this constant feeling stays with me. I keep asking myself, is this necessary? Where are we going with this? Is this what we want to leave behind for our children and for our future generations? Thank you.